Hello, welcome again to Contemplative Living. Yes, we're still here at the beach and in our little makeshift studio here. Ta-da. Um, you know, philosophers, gurus, teachers, ancient teachers have all taught us to look at ourselves. And it's incredibly hard. This on the path to spiritual awakening. One of the first steps is to do an inner work, inner pathways, to look at ourselves deeply. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, because today's theme is the universe is in our heart. So let's get to it.
Welcome. Now creating a life of peace. This is Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Contemplations and reflections to help with spiritual living. This podcast is made possible by dharmatalks.com.
All right, so Spirit once said to me, feel your individual awareness. Synchronize with cosmic awareness. Now, what Spirit was trying to tell me was, what we're talking about today, that the universe is in our heart, that we are a part of the universe is a part of us. And when we take the time and we develop the discipline through meditation and spiritual practice to go inward, to find that stillness and feel that expansiveness, that we soon discover that everything about us is also a part of the universe, and that we're a part of it and it's a part of us. So it's said that the universe is in our hearts, yet we have to find out for ourselves. And that's it in a nutshell. We have to find out for ourselves what it's all about. And it can be confusing. It can be, really hard. By looking directly into your own hearts, we find a clear experience of how things really are. And that clear experience is what I was talking about, that expansiveness. We feel this incredible connection to something so much greater than just ourselves. And and we're connected to that. And we're connected to that at all times. But unfortunately, we don't realize that. We don't realize that most of the time. And most of the time we're dealing with, stuff that's just going on in our lives. And that's okay, because we got to do that. We have to deal with this stuff. But the more we connect, the more that we make that connection, the more we bring it into what we're doing. And so that's kind of, that's the end goal that we're looking for. But using kindness, we seek clarity. Without clarity and honesty, we don't progress. It's a real puzzle at first. When we look at ourselves, sometimes maybe we don't like ourselves. I know the first time that I really took a deep look at myself was in my near-death experience. And in that life review, I saw a person that I didn't really care for. I saw a person that was so self-involved, that didn't care about others, only cared about himself. And that's hard to look at. That's an incredible hard journey to overcome. So in our meditation, it's very common to come across these obstacles and to look at them honestly. But the secret is to use kindness. Because when we're gentle with ourselves, when we're kind with ourselves, then we can make progress. Then we can move forward, because we can come to a point of, okay, I accept. This is who I am. And then now we can move forward and we can make progress. So when we look into our hearts, we discover what's baffling, brilliant, bitter, and what is sweet. We see it all, the good, bad, and ugly, right? And we're discovering ourselves, because all of that is who we are. We have all those elements within us, and that's part of being human. It's part of this growth that we're trying to achieve. It's recognizing all the parts of us, our shadow self and our light self. Working with it, bringing it out, examining it, so that we can discover the roots and get to what's really meaningful. Have the willingness and the bravery to discover the universe within. So at first, it's like this puzzle that we have to work with. We have to put the pieces together. We have to look at them. We have to examine, where does this fit in my life? Where does that? And we have to, before we can ascend to that greater expansiveness and connection to oneness, we have to kind of put ourselves together like a puzzle. And we have to overcome that. So it requires some bravery on our parts, and sometimes many tears. I know in my journey, I've shed a lot of tears on my spiritual journey. But that's normal. It's healthy. It's cathartic to get that out and to work with yourself in a very whole and real way. Everything is awake, precious, and whole. We regard thoughts and emotions with kindness and openness. When we recognize within us that we have this divine nature, then we can also see that everyone else, everything else, has this divine nature, and that it's precious and that it's whole. It's only us that judges and perverses our nature. We don't listen to our higher self. And when that happens, and when we're not working with our connection, when we just get swept away with the mob mind and that mentality, then we're not working through kindness. We're not working through compassion. And so we need to regard our thoughts and our emotions with kindness and openness, the same kindness and openness that we use in our meditation when we're connecting to that oneness. We need to bring that out and attach it to our thoughts and emotions. The experience of opening to the world benefits us and others simultaneously. We are, like we talked in the last episode, we talked about our interconnection and our interdependence. And that's so true. Once we start down this path, and once we start to recognize the universe that lives and resides within our heart, within our being, within our soul, however you want to phrase it. But when we recognize that oneness is a part of us, and we experience the opening, the expansiveness that is us, it is a connection for everyone. Now that's a concept that's quite broad, but it's quite true. That as we grow, as we connect, as we develop that loving center that is us, we help the world to make that connection. So the more of us that are working in this way, the greater benefit that our world sees. Now, it takes discipline. Thich Nhat Hanh said, it's not only suffering, it requires discipline. and there is some suffering on the path. Because once you start to look at yourself deeply, and once you start to see the enormity of your true nature, you have to deal with some of the things in your life that you probably haven't dealt with. And these things just unfold during the spiritual process. But that's the wonder of it all, is we get to open it up, examine it, yes, shed some tears, but we get to deal with it and make it healthy and whole once more and bring ourselves into wholeness. So I hope that you can work on yourself, find that expansive, loving nature within you, treat yourself with kindness, and have a blessed week. Namaste.
Thank you for listening today to Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Please be sure to subscribe, listen, and share with your friends wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the Podbean app. You can find the links to these on David's website, dharmatalks.com, on the Contemplative Living page. Have a blessed week.